Alright, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah. Very good morning to all of you. I am Shikin Yunus, your host for today. I would like to welcome all of you to the episode 2 of Berbual Mak-Mak Talkshow, SaturDATE with ARIF. So how's everyone this morning? Alhamdulillah. Have you had your breakfast? No, not really like breakfast. So I hope you'll stay awake with us throughout this program. And I am very happy and thankful to those. I see a familiar faces from last week. So thank you for spending your time with us this morning, inshallah. Okay, so today is another exciting topic to talk about, which is journeying the trimesters. What do we need to know? So are all the mommies pregnant today? Alhamdulillah, inshallah. Okay, so I saw a few husbands I saw a few husbands with us here to show your support to your wife. So inshallah, we have welcome Dr. Faris. Dr. Faris is actually a consultant from the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology from KKH. So how's your morning, doctor?
Assalamualaikum. Thank you. Thanks for inviting me. My morning has been not bad. I saw my patient this morning. She just delivered yesterday night. So yeah, I was trying to prepare some slides for you guys. So I hope you enjoy the slides. We will make the slides available to everyone who are keen to get it. I'll share the QR code later. So there are a lot of resources that I want to share. The aim of what I'm here for is to try to enrich your experience in this pregnancy journey, and I'll try my best to answer whatever questions you have later, inshallah.
Inshallah, thank you, doctor. So we have also with us Ustazah Latifah. She's also my team from the Ladies Minaret and technically my boss. Okay, so how's everything, Zah?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, she bullied the boss actually because she's supposed to be here. Okay, Alhamdulillah, my morning has Alhamdulillah been great. I haven't had my breakfast because takut, nervous. So I really hope that the energy from everyone here can give me so that macam I okay, then you also okay, and we can gain some knowledge, insyaAllah.
InsyaAllah lah hari ini kita akan sama-sama bantu untuk share info lah berkenaan dengan pregnancy ni, insyaAllah. Okay, so before we go on with this topic, as usual, like last week, we are going to start off this session with a short drama. So insyaAllah, let's watch it.
Hey, what is this? I thought pregnancy is supposed to be fun. Now I cannot even smell this.
How do I know? I'm not even braggers. Okay. Come, tell me what you want. Going to shopping, massage, spa, just name it. We do it together.
Okay, so yeah, I still remember, doctor, the first time I saw the positive pregnancy test, followed by sharing it with my husband, is full of emotions, of joy, of gratitude. But however, the journey is not as easy as it seems. So, doctor, maybe you can share with us what actually happened. What caused the instability of emotions, cravings, and etc.?
I think that video is very well done. I must credit the team from Al-Istighfar. Yeah, spa, shopping, sounds fun, right? Sounds nice, right? I'm very, very glad that all the husbands are here. I know you're not seated with your wives today because you're in the musalla, but it's fantastic. You make new friends, right? You learn from each other, all the pregnant women here as well. I'll try to address some of these questions in my slides. I just introduced myself. Oh, can we share the slides? I'm Fairuz. I work in KK Women's and Children's Hospital. I'm a consultant in obstetrics and gynecology. That means I do deliveries, I do operations on women. So this is what I do every day. So some of the patients that I see in clinics, the babies that deliver. The picture right in the middle and the top there is one of our Project ARIF babies. Delivered her last April. Where's Siti? April? this is Zakia's couple. Sorry, Zakia's couple. I think April, yeah. I do deliveries by normal deliveries, cesarean sections, and one of the picture on the top left is our talk at Concord, right? Concord Hotel. Yeah, that was just last week or last month. I also attend. I teach medical students as well, and also junior doctors in obstetrics and gynecology. Right. So I like to start off with a memorable case. Right. So she's absolutely right. Right. The pregnancy journey is never easy. Right. Any woman who's been through pregnancy, any husbands who've seen their wife go through the pregnancy, will find that there are many challenges along the way. And this is one particularly memorable case. She's a lady who had previous cesarean section. Yeah. So she came to us at about 36 weeks in the pregnancy with a lot of pain in the tummy. She thought she was in labor. She thought she was going into labor, right? So one of my junior doctors examined her the neck of the womb was not opened. The baby heartbeat tracing, you see the one on the top right corner. So that's the CTG. We call it the CTG, right? So in pregnancy, when you go into labor, we want to monitor how the baby's condition is. That CTG doesn't look particularly that good. Okay, there was no contractions, right? So she thought, okay, so I'm not in labor. I want to go home lah, right? So, right, because if I'm not in labor, why should I stay? That's her thought, right? But she was still in pain, no? She was willing to withstand the pain and try to go home. But when we scan her, we notice that the membranes, the pregnancy amniotic membranes, what you see in the picture there, was already bulging through the womb. So basically, her womb was starting to dehisce, or the scar of the previous pregnancy was starting to open by itself. And that's particularly dangerous for her and the baby, right? So this was the picture we took during the cesarean section. We could see the moment we entered the abdomen, the pregnancy, the water bag, basically, that's what you see, is already bulging. Okay, I hope this picture doesn't make you throw up or whatever for your breakfast or, but I just wanted to show you, I mean, just the unpredictability of pregnancy, right? The potential danger that if you are just not careful, if you don't pay attention to your body, some things can still go wrong, right? No matter how careful you are. It's about paying attention and being sensible, being rational, doing the right things, basically. Okay? So everybody's pregnancy journey is absolutely different, right? You can talk to your friends, you can talk to each other here, you can talk to your mom. It's absolutely different. You cannot compare yourself to somebody else. You cannot even compare yourself to your first pregnancy, your previous pregnancy, right? Every pregnancy is different, okay? There are some similarities, of course, but it's important you look out for some of the things that will be important, okay? So at a glance, the pregnancy journey can be summarized in this one slide, okay? We broke it down into the 3 trimesters. If you come to KK Hospital, you come to C Clinic, this mural is on the wall, printed so big, and to make it easy for everyone to follow, right? There are questions about pregnancy checkups, right? Antenatal checkups. How often should you go for checkups? Well, that depends. That depends on how high risk the pregnancy is. The higher the risk in the pregnancy, the more frequent the checkups will be, right? You can take your time to look at the slides later when I give you the slides, but I will go on a bit more specific into the other parts of the pregnancy. She mentions about the joy sometimes, or maybe the fear when you see that 2 lines on the pregnancy urine kit, right? The pregnancy test kit. So that's usually the start of the pregnancy. When you miss a period, you do urine test, it's positive, right? So what do? The issues that I've faced, because I will see a whole bunch of women, right? From the woman who has unplanned pregnancies, who don't want the pregnancy, who are desperate for the pregnancy, a whole range of women. The key is, if you know you're pregnant, go and see a doctor, right? Why are you pregnant? Like, you know you're pregnant, but you're just, not going to see a doctor, not going for your scans, right? Don't you want to know if your baby is okay? Don't you want to know if you're carrying twins, for example, right? Because don't assume twins, or I'm carrying twins, so 2 for the price of 1, so easier, right? 1 pregnancy, well, settle 2 at one go. But not all twin pregnancy can be straightforward. There are higher risks in twin pregnancy: risk of preterm birth, risk of miscarriage, risk of having a operative delivery, like cesarean sections, for example. Not all. There are twins who can have a normal delivery as well, but in general, twins include higher risk. So this is the purpose of going for your scans. Number one, the picture in the top, in the middle top picture, you want to measure the length of the baby. So you get the gestational age, and this is best done in the first trimester, right? About roughly 7 weeks or 8 weeks in the pregnancy. It's the best time to get your estimated due date, estimated date of delivery, right? That's the most accurate time to do your scans, right? If you don't know your estimated due date, how then are you going to plan when is your next appointment? How do you know your baby is growing properly, right? The estimated due date is of utmost important, right? The other purpose of the scans, of course, is to look for things like twins, right? So in my experience, we've even encountered the picture on the bottom right corner. My right, your left. That's a cesarean scar pregnancy. The pregnancy is growing in the cesarean scar, okay? I'm sorry, my laser pointer can't point on the screen, but I mean, I just oriented you by my right, your left, whatever. In this day and age of increasing cesarean sections, right? We are seeing more and more of this kind of cases, right? Is a cesarean scar pregnancy dangerous? Yes, it can end up with that case that I showed you earlier. The scar is trying to rupture, right? Or it can end up as a severe bleeding in pregnancy, okay? Or it can end up, the picture on the bottom, the one that's an operation picture, right? The pregnancy is not even in the womb. It's an ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy means the pregnancy is outside of the womb. And commonly it ends up in the fallopian tube. So that picture, this one, right? That's the swollen fallopian tube that's bleeding that we have to operate on, we have to remove, okay? Because it's bleeding, right? Or even rare, the picture on the top right hand, this woman, she's 41, she was trying for pregnancy for like 15 over years, wasn't successful. Through IVF, wasn't successful. At 41, she miraculously got pregnant. Allah is great, right? Right? He grants you all kinds of rizqis without you knowing. She got pregnant, right? She came to us because she was having a lot of pain. She felt that the pain was starting in the lower tummy, starting to rise up towards her chest and rising towards her shoulders. So when I did a scan, I was so surprised because I saw not one, but 2 pregnancy sacs, right? One was in the womb, the other one was outside of the womb, right? So we call this a heterotopic pregnancy. It's extremely rare, it's 1 in 30,000. So okay, rest assured, most of the time it won't happen to you, but do not dismiss it, right? This is why you do scans. Exactly why you do scans. So I've proven my point. Do your ultrasound scans, okay? The common symptoms, right? Like what our moderator has mentioned, right? One of the commonest symptoms is what? Nausea and vomiting, right? When does this happen? Typically first trimester. Is everyone going to get the same kind of nausea and vomiting? No, right? Some women are blessed. The entire pregnancy, nothing happening to them. Some women are not so blessed. The entire pregnancy vomiting like hell. Okay, why? Because of pregnancy hormones, beta HCG, right? If you're carrying twins, hormones are higher, right? Because of that, nausea and vomiting is worse, right? If you have some other abnormal pregnancy like molar pregnancy, okay, this one is when it looks like a bunch of grapes on ultrasound scan. The picture looks very abnormal. They also have a lot of nausea and vomiting. Okay, that's an abnormal pregnancy, right? Feeling like fatigue, food cravings. Food cravings, I think it's a bit, sometimes it's personality, right? You just feel like this, right? But why do you feel like this? Could you attribute to pregnancy? Maybe, right? Leg cramps, fainting spells. Some of these symptoms are more apparent in the later trimesters. Some of the symptoms are more apparent in the first trimesters, okay? But they are common. And are they dangerous? Most of the time, no. Most of the time, they can be managed, they can be coped with. Measures like anti-nausea tablets, stockings, compression stockings to combat the leg swelling, resting, lifting up your legs, managing the constipation by using some fruits to help you to pass motion well, right? Or sometimes you even use some, what's this, constipation medicine, right? But they are part and parcel of being pregnant, okay? I would like to end off my first part with this thing, okay? A lot of women, when they're pregnant, they also get worried, right? Things like bleeding happening, okay? Bleeding can be mild, can be severe, bleeding like as though it's like just like menses, and they often don't know what to do, okay? We actually have a service called the Early Pregnancy Assessment Unit at our Urgent Obstetrics and Gynecology Center in KK. That's at Basement 1, Women's Tower. It's open 24 hours, right? The Urgent Urgency is open 24 hours, right? That's the hotline number. Basically, you have early pregnancy issues, right? You have a bit of bleeding, you're a bit worried, you have problems with nausea and vomiting, or you feel very stressed, or you're just anxious about the pregnancy, come for a check, right? Come for a check. It's absolutely nothing wrong to come, do your scans, speak to a doctor, get reassured that you are doing okay, your baby is doing okay, yeah? Miscarriages is something that is part and parcel of being pregnant, okay? It is a setback, right? And when a woman faces miscarriage, she feels discouraged, she feels disheartened, she feels upset, she feels angry even sometimes. But sometimes you cannot help it, right? Can you prevent a miscarriage? Can you truly prevent a miscarriage? Answer is no, right? The risk of a miscarriage, if you are belonging in below the age of 40, it's up to 1 in 5 pregnancy can end up as a miscarriage. Okay, if you're above the age of 40, of course, that risk becomes even higher. Up to 1 in 2 pregnancy will have a miscarriage. Why? Because as we grow older, right, the quality of our eggs, the quality of our sperms will also go down. Yeah, and the process of fertilization, when eggs and sperm combine, majority of the time, we get a healthy egg and a healthy sperm that combines, you get a healthy baby. But sometimes, not so healthy egg and not so healthy sperm can also fertilize, and that's when miscarriages tend to happen. But be reassured, if you are generally healthy, right? If you are a normal body mass index, BMI, if you are a non-smoker, you don't take alcohol and drugs, okay? You regularly exercise, your chances of having recurrent miscarriages is low, right? 80% of the time, the subsequent pregnancy, inshallah, will be okay, right? So it's about knowing what to do, right? You have bleeding in the pregnancy, you have severe cramps in the pregnancy, come for a check, and we see what we can do. Yeah, so I will pass on to Ustazah.
Right. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you all for coming. Before I add on, I actually love to have this kind of platform because back then during my time, I think 12 years ago, I pregnant, yes, 12 years ago. Dah lupa I forgot that my son is already in PSLE this year. So 12 years ago, we don't really have this kind of exposure. So I really have a lot of counselors, during back then, counselors, when I put like this meaning, right? Okay, I do, when I told them I'm pregnant, my circle of friends, my family members, I have this kind of reaction. Number one, I have this group of people who tell me, hey, Alhamdulillah, you're going to go through a smooth journey. You're going to love this. Just go with the journey and you are going to be happy, inshallah. All things will be in hand. Okay. Another group of people, hey, you know what? You are going to go through the craving lah. You're going to go through heartburn, leg swelling and so on. So these two group of people is not helping me at all. I'm very confused because why? During that time for us to actually to go to hospital or doctor is really like takut in terms of, hey, what should I do next? If we don't know, because my parents during that time, they say, hey, you're pregnant now, okay lah, go ahead. Then they never tell us, hey, go see doctor, meet with the gynae. No, never. What I do is actually I ask my friend and alhamdulillah, I do have my sisters. So I call my sister, hey, what should I do? I'm pregnant. And I you pregnant? I really? Get yeah, I'm pregnant. So what should I do? Now you go KK, now you go to polyclinic, then you can get subsidy and then straight away go KK, Then from there, you can say which clinic I need to go. So that you go call up lah, because the exposure was not there during that time. So really stressed. I'm happy to be pregnant, but the process was really stressful during that time. Cerita masa lampau pula but it's okay. Okay, so that is my counselors lah. But alhamdulillah, this time banyak orang senyum, maknanya you go through my journey also, right? Okay. So in fact, when we talk about cravings, alhamdulillah, I don't really crave, no. Though I'm not sure how it related. My husband is the one who actually craving a lot. Is it related or no? Not sure.
be careful kalau the husband ada craving, jangan the wife pregnant, the husband also look like he's also getting pregnant. Just
In fact, like that lah, no husband. I think the manja lah. My husband is really manja. It's because why? I don't really crave a lot. Okay, I don't really ask to makan goreng pisang lah. I want this nasi lemak lah. Sebab tak minta nasi lemak wanjo kat Pak KL apa. I don't really crave that, you know. As long as there's food in front of me, okay. If let's say you lie to me about food, you say there's food, but there's no food, I will cry. That's my hormone changes. I don't know what happened to me. So Alhamdulillah, I don't really crave. My husband is the one to go through the morning sickness. I don't really get. That is what Allah actually grant me lah, Alhamdulillah. But in basically in Islam, right, we actually need to eat in moderation lah. Okay, moderation. What I mean by moderation? Allah SWT dah jadikan our body is actually an amanah. So Allah entrusts us. Okay, this is our responsibility to actually eat good food. Balanced food, healthy food. So that is actually our babies is okay. Alright. So in this ayat is mentioned, the meaning is then eat of what Allah has provided for you, which is lawful and good, and be grateful for the favor of Allah. It is indeed Him that you worship. So this craving is actually kita punya diri sendiri, not really like we want to eat here and there. Do really we want to eat this thing? It's upon you. Tapi this is just like macam no kita punya craving because kita rasa entitled. Well, I'm pregnant. I want this. I want that. But in Islam, is actually encourage us to eat everything in moderation. Recommended sunnah food. Okay, recommended sunnah food is one of it is actually dates, honey and milk. I know a lot of sugar in this. Dalam dates ada banyak sugar, honey pun ada sugar, milk pun ada sugar. I think milk also I get sugar, right? A bit lah, but we need the milk, right? So all this we need because it's also recommended sunnah food to eat, but we need to eat in moderation. Okay, because we need to take care of our health. Because during my time, I have to take the glucose. I think everybody has to take the glucose, right? And when they check, no, there's something wrong with it, I have to eat medicine again because of me. Because I tamak that time, I ikut nafsu, masya-Allah. So ingat, Allah SWT already said eat in moderation. So go through that, okay? Because they say you actually add up pounds ke apa dalam you punya during pregnancy. Yes, true. But I eat a lot, so I never lose until now. Itulah. Tapi sihat alhamdulillah, cikgu, doktor.
Yeah, I have this mindset. I mean, like, if you can eat a lot, that is during pregnancy, because later after you give birth, you still have to lose weight. So eat all you can during pregnancy. No, not a good advice. Okay, so yeah, mashallah. So I hope the first part of the presentation is not that scary, mami. Ready to be, inshallah. Okay, so yeah, it's a good knowledge lah. So but then again, that is on the medical part lah. So in dealing with all these, as some Muslims, the beauty of it is we don't only seek advices in terms of medical, but we know that we can also depend on our Creator, Allah SWT, and also from the sayings of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So maybe Zoza can share with us if there's any specific doa to go through all this.
Okay, alhamdulillah. First, when we know that we're pregnant, first thing that we need to do is, can I have the clicker? Yeah. Alright. The first thing that we need to do is actually to be thankful to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, because child ataupun anak is actually a gift from Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. So so basically what we need actually to do is actually to read this lah. Kita dapat anak, kita kena sebut Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah. So in this hadith, it says Alhamdulillahilladzi bi ni'matihi tatimmus salihah. All praise and thanks are only for Allah, and the one who by His blessing and favor perfected goodness, good works are accomplished. Meaning, right, kita dah go through this journey. We go through the journey and nikah, okay, and of course we also want to have children. So the first thing that we need to do is when I get to know that I'm pregnant during that time, the first thing that I do is actually I do my sujud sejadah. Okay, sujud syukur. Sujud sejadah habis penat ya Allah. You know, sujud sejadah we have to read a lot of the ayat, but I do the sujud syukur. I was surprised because usually, you know, the makcik-makcik will say, hey, how come already 6 months belum ada anak? You know, all these makcik will say here and there. But alhamdulillah, itu that last time lah back then. But alhamdulillah, after I think about nearly 1 year of marriage, I get pregnant, and that is the first thing that I did. I did my sujud syukur, and what my parents advised me, my dad advised me, first actually in our daily recitation, our zikir, we wake up in the morning, kita solat subuh and so on. What we need actually, we recite this 3 things. Kalau nak baca Quran tu memang it's a bit hard. So what is the 3 dua, the 3 zikir that I always read? The first thing is actually Alhamdulillah. Okay, because we thanks Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala of what Allah has give to us. Okay, children is actually a blessing. So kita kena thank you to Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Then we say Subhanallah because there's something that grow in your body, you know, growth. Kalau husband, I tak tahu apa you grow lah, tapi the woman, you know what is inside there, right? Okay, so this grow, kita nak cakap, this is Allah punya kebesaran. Okay, we say Subhanallah. Then we say that kita nak puji lagi kebesaran Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. We say Allahu Akbar. These three things you recite every time. Minimum 3 kali. Okay, kalau nak baca the whole day pun is up to you. What I suggest is every waktu solat, you dah habis solat je, you baca these 3 zikir. You baca Alhamdulillah, Subhanallah and Allahu Akbar. Okay, right. Okay, and at the same time, because we are going to go through the macam, being pregnant is something that, it's not easy sometimes. Okay, we have this morning sickness. Okay, we have this leg swelling. We have a lot of things lah. Okay, and we demand a lot of things. So I'm sorry for husband. I need you all to be patient. Okay, for the woman, you're going to go through a lot of changes in your body and your hormones and so on. Okay, one thing during that time for me, I don't know why I love to cry during that time. Okay, asyik nangis saja, sikit-sikit nangis. Makanan tak ada pun nangis. Air tak datang pun nangis. Okay, kan, makanan lambat. That's one story. I believe my friend all know this story. One of my friend actually, I asked her to buy for me the food. I said, where are you? I said, yeah. She said, I'm going back, on the way back. That time I was lah. Okay, I'm on the way back. You sure you on the way back? Yes, that was like 15 minutes ago. I call her again. Where are you? Yeah, I'm going back. She's still on the way. I nangis. My friend Ustazah Aziza witnessed me. Okay, I cried. I said, what happened to me? And I realized, I'm pregnant. What's wrong with me? So during that time, my husband also go through the pain with me because I say I need food. I don't really crave a lot of things. I just need food. Pass me like any food. So he eventually said, what happened to you? Why you become like this? Because he also don't have this knowledge, So your husband, okay, you kena sabar, patient, sabar. In Islam pun kata Allah suka pada orang yang sabar. Sabar, senyum, bagus. For the woman, okay, for kita yang perempuan-perempuan ni, first kali, I know it's hard to control our emotions, but try. Okay, control your temper and try also. And also your anger. Kita nak kena yang kita punya emotions lah. It's okay for you to cry, but when you are in this situation, ingat, you need to someone to refer to. Okay, don't be alone, right? So we need to be like this lah, nak kena be with your circle of friends. Okay, and another doa that we can actually read is this one. This one is not only during pregnant, at any. This one husband boleh practice, the wife also practice. Allahumma la sahla ila ma ja'altahu sahla wa anta taj'alul hazna idza syi'ta sahla. Oh Allah, there is no ease except in that which you have made easy, and you make the difficulty if you wish easy. So sekarang ni kita minta kepada Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala, ya Allah, okay, this thing is not normal for me. This is not normal. So please ease my task. So benda ni kita baca. So you know what you can do actually, you kena boleh kumpulkan what I did last time. I have this dulu last time kita boleh screenshot on our phone lah, but during back then my time I have this like macam notes every day, the zikir and doa that I need to recite every day because they actually calm me. So this is one of the doa. Okay, Allahumma la sahla, please make my task easy, because nak pakai baju when you are pregnant, like 7 months, 6 months, I tell you, really the heat and so on, kita nak pakai baju pun susah. If I last time my husband sampai pakai kat stokin. Okay, I nak keluar nak kasut pun my husband letakkan. Very loving my husband. I have to give the credit to him today. Okay, so yes, so you need to actually read this kind of doa actually to ease the task, because why? Sometimes we hope that our husband ni sabarlah baik-baik dengan kita, and we hope that we all taklah perangai. Boleh insyaAllah. Suka hati berbual. Okay, I hope that we can have this interaction lah, so that we can pergi the session will be relaxed insyaAllah. And another doa that we can actually recite also, Ya Hayyu Ya Qayyum Birahmatika Astaghith. Okay, oh living and eternal sustainer, by your mercy I seek relief. Relief from what? All this pain. I remember when I wake up, I think about 2 AM, 3 AM in the morning, because I feel rasa macam suffocate tau. Okay, macam tak boleh breathe. So what I did, I actually open the window, I go and breathe the air. Padahal kat dalam bilik tu ada je angin, aircon sama, okay. I rasa macam, I need a breather, I need macam a big space. So my husband kata, what happened to you? No, I don't know, I feel like macam, breathless lah. You should not breathless, kan go to the doctor. Kata, no, I feel like tight. So because I think I was nervous during that time, because it's nearing my labor. So I actually wake up early in the morning, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., almost every night just to breathe the air. Padahal air pun taklah berapa fresh sangat. Yes, I did that. But nowadays we have the Young Living, you can smell lah, insyaAllah. Tak promote, but you can actually do that. Right. Okay, yeah, I think that is my part.
Yeah, talking about crying, I remember kan, during kita pregnant dulu, I'm not sure lah, our parents used to say, hey, you don't cry a lot, later your baby will also cry a lot. I'm like, is there any relation to that or not, doctor?
Scientifically, no. I think just a short answer, no. It's very interesting what Ustazah and our moderator has discussed. I don't mind chipping in a bit more. I agree, it's a tag team, right? Whatever your wife is feeling in the pregnancy, you may not feel all of it, but you can see it. You can sort of try to share the sentiment and be extremely pay attention to her needs. Pay attention to what she that can make her life easier, right? You help her got pregnant, right? Now your job is to help her ease through the pregnancy as much as possible, no matter how challenging the pregnancy may be, right? It brings me a lot of joy to see every time I see the patient comes in, the pregnant woman comes in, the husband is there along with her at every step along the way. Someone's carrying her bag for her, opening the door for her. That's just an act of service. Chivalry is not dead, okay guys? So I think keep up that like how you caught your wife last time when you were trying to marry her, right? Keep that up throughout the entire pregnancy. Don't stop that. So I think that's very, very good. The part about eating, that one I think must be a bit careful, okay? It's not like you are pregnant, you can eat whatever you want. I don't think that's the right thing to say. Just be mindful, right? You will put on weight in pregnancy. That's a given. Every woman who gets pregnant will put on weight. The question is, how much weight can you put on in the pregnancy? How much weight gain is safe in pregnancy? Is there a guide? Well, there is a guide, right? If you belong to a normal body mass index, like most of you are here, right? Body mass index is your weight divided by your height times height, okay? If you fall between 18 to 25 body mass index, right? That's a normal range. You are encouraged to put on not more than 15 kilograms throughout the whole pregnancy, right? The pregnancy weight gain will not be so apparent at the start of the pregnancy, right? You can still put on your normal clothes, macam tak pregnant like that. You I don't know, wear some tight fitting one, it's still okay. But the bum will start to grow, your body will start to show changes, right? You see your face become puffier, your legs have some swelling, you start to see stretch marks on your tummy, right? Wow, my body really starting to change. Your bum becomes bigger, your boobs become bigger, okay? This is all your body preparing you for your baby to come, yeah? So if you are not careful with what you eat, you just keep eating all the cravings, can just eat whatever you like, and the husband, oh, my wife is wants food, so give food. Then put on 30 kilograms. Then after that, how are you going to lose that weight after the pregnancy, right? You have to think, right? Now I'm going to have to look after my baby. I have to look, my body needs to recover. Let's say you have a cesarean section, you have some pain from the cesarean section sometimes. Oh, I'm lazy to exercise. I'm still in pain. I don't want to exercise, right? So the more weight you gain, the more difficult it is to lose after the pregnancy. If you just gain just enough weight, easier to lose it after the pregnancy. But it's a continuous effort. I'll share a bit more in my slides later. I just want to add that one.
Alamak, macam ini after this husbands want satisfy your cravings lah, sister. Okay, so yeah, at the end of the day, I believe that a supportive husband is the best things that we want in pregnancies, right, sisters? Yeah. Okay, and I also believe that good knowledge and being well prepared will help us in to ease our labor journey, inshallah. So plus with all the doa, but surely the pain will still be there lah. Okay, it just help us to stay calm. You go calm. No, I'm not sure. Everyone experience different things. But at the end of the day, enjoy your wonderful journey. Okay, so doctor, I mean, like, you know, with this, right? A lot of checkup going on. So which one is compulsory? Which one is optional? And what are the list of the things that we need to be cautious of?
Okay, that's a very good question. Okay, antenatal checkups or pregnancy checkups, right? How, like I said earlier, it is quite variable from different patient to patient, because if you're carrying twins, you are even asked to come even more frequently, sometimes up to every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, come for scans, especially if the twins are sharing one placenta, one uri, right? That's even a higher risk pregnancy. Okay, if let's say a standard pregnancy where there's one baby inside, typically the pregnancy checkup is once a month, right? You come, what do you do in that checkup? You will come together with your husband, see the doctor, you get your blood pressure checked because it's so important. A lot of times, high blood pressure in pregnancy may just, the first time it appears may only be in the pregnancy, okay? Especially if you have some risk factors. For example, your parents are hypertensive or you are obese, right? Without checking your blood pressure, you wouldn't know because not all the times it presents with symptoms. Symptoms like headache, chest pain, breathlessness, it may not be present. So you got yourself, you need to check. You do a urine test at every pregnancy checkup. The test is for sugar to see whether you are at risk for diabetes. The test is also for protein to see whether you are leaking protein through your urine. And that's a condition called preeclampsia, high blood pressure plus protein in the urine, okay? And then you see the doctor, you do your scans, right? Scans do happen very frequently in pregnancy. There are certain, I wouldn't say compulsory, I would say very important scans that you do, right? The first trimester I mentioned, that was for dating the pregnancy to get your estimated due date. In the second trimester, we are doing what we call the screening scan, just to look for anomalies in the baby, abnormalities. You want to know, so far, I know my due date is so-and-so. Is my baby healthy? How is my baby developing? So we look at the organ structure. If you see the top picture there, trying to look at the brain, the eyes, the heart, the lungs, the stomach, the kidneys, the gender, the bones, right? Right. So what, like, boy or girl is the same. You're going to love your child the same, right? But more importantly is the organs, right? You want to make sure baby is growing well. Where is the placenta? Is my placenta in an abnormal location? Okay. So this is so important. The scan is so important. Also, if your visit involves a scan, please come early. Don't rush from don't know where, meeting, whatever. Come last minute. Then the scan room say, oh, you are late. Wait at the end of the queue. Then you're frustrated, right? So remember, when your appointments are, keep note of it in your diary or your phone, right? You have your calendars on your phone. Be on time or be early, right? So you're not rushing. You are so, nervous and also like in a rush. You do your blood pressure also high, then you get more nervous and more angry, I don't know. So just remember when you have appointments, try to make time for it, right? So you are not in a rush. Also, if let's say you are obese, it's more difficult to scan when you're obese. So the sonographer may have a hard time also looking at the baby. Baby also keep moving, right? So you need to give additional time, right? Have patience, okay? I think the picture, who's here already in the third trimester? Anybody? Nobody. One. Have you done the glucose drink yet? How did it taste? That's the exact sentiment for most women here, right? Yes? Ustaza agrees, right? I've not tasted it before because I've never been pregnant. But all my patients tell me it tastes terrible. Okay, so that's the oral glucose tolerance test, right? That's a test for gestational diabetes, right? Moderator asked me earlier, is this compulsory? Okay. The question is, what are we trying to test here? We're trying to test for gestational diabetes or diabetes in the pregnancy, right? What is the risk of diabetes in pregnancy, right? Could it cause problems to you? Yes, it can cause your sugars to be really, really high, right? And could make you put on a lot of weight in the pregnancy. And then that exposes the baby to a high sugar environment. The baby also becomes very, very big. If the baby becomes very, very big, do you think it's more difficult to deliver? Yeah? Do you think there's a higher risk that you may end up having a cesarean section? Yes. Do you think there's a higher risk that you may end up with instrumental delivery like forceps or vacuum? Yes. Right? Potential pregnancy complications like premature birth? Yes. Okay, so these are all the potential complications of uncontrolled diabetes in pregnancy, right? Being diagnosed with gestational diabetes is not the end of the world, right? There are a lot of measures that you can do, from as simple as diet control to get it, to get the upper hand against diabetes, right? The problem is, do you think you will know you have diabetes in pregnancy? There are no symptoms, right? Do you think you want to wait for you pee and wait for ends to come to the pee, is it? That's a terrible test, okay? A lot of times you don't know you have diabetes until you test for it. What is the rate of diabetes? Up to 1 in 3 pregnancy has diabetes. Okay, that's 1/3, right? So without testing, you just wouldn't know. Do we make it compulsory for you to test? In the past, we used to do risk-based screening. That means if you have risk factors, you are, let's say, high BMI, you have previous diabetes in previous pregnancy, or your parents or your sisters are diabetic, okay, you go for test. But we realize since the rate is so high, 1 in 3, that's not good enough. We encourage every pregnant woman to go for the test. Is the test harmful to you? No, it's not, right? Drinking a glucose drink is not going to cause any danger to your body, right? So you will do a fasting blood test, you drink the glucose drink, 1 hour later, a 1 hour glucose test, and 2 hours later, the last test. That's it. And that's done at about 24 to 28 weeks of the pregnancy, and then we'll know the results later. Okay? So this is beneficial in many, many ways, right? If you really, really then decide, I don't want to do this test, nobody's going to stop you, right? This is not a jail. It's not like you better do this, I cane you or what. No, it's not like that, okay? So we encourage, okay? Second trimester onwards is also when you start to enjoy the pregnancy a little bit more. Why? Because the nausea gets better, right? The vomiting is much better, right? You are more accustomed to being pregnant, right? You know what to do. You have done the 20-week scan. You are reassured by your baby. Can you travel? You want to do a baby moon? Yeah? Husband's treat to the wife, oh, thank you for being pregnant. Let's take you on holiday. Right? It's fantastic, right? I'm sure most of you would want to go holiday, okay? So can, the answer is can, yes, right? But also be sensible, right? Don't go and like, oh, I want to go holiday. Let's go to sub-Saharan Africa, go and do a desert trip. Why? Let's go to maybe Ukraine, see some fun, right? Why? Right? Be sensible about where you want to go, right? The further you travel, right? Let's say you take air travel, right? What is the danger? You are in a confined space. Okay, you travel first class, it's like as though you're traveling in a hotel like that, right? But let's say economy class, right? Tight, narrow space. You are pregnant, right? You are swollen. Yeah? The blood circulation in the legs can be affected. If you are adjusting your chair for like that 16-hour flight, not moving, that's a danger. You can get blood clots in your leg, which can then travel to your lungs, and that can be deadly. We call that pulmonary embolism. Okay? So, the distance that you travel, make it sensible. Nearby places. There are many, many places to explore around our country. Sentosa is also okay, right? It's overseas, okay? Whatever, right? But, just get a change of scenery. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? It's refreshing. It takes your mind off the pregnancy a little bit. But also, if you are having trouble in the pregnancy, let's say you're having problems like recurrent bleeding in the pregnancy, then please don't travel, right? You have scans showing the baby is not growing really, really well. The baby is a bit small. Maybe it's a bit risky, right? Why are you traveling? Most airlines will accept traveling in pregnancy if the pregnancy is below 36 weeks. Most airlines, okay? So just check whatever airlines you're traveling with so you don't incur unnecessary risk, right? When you go through the airport scans, like they check your what metal things inside, that's fine. It's going to be harmful to your baby, right? The pictures that I have on these slides, which you will have access to, if you click on them, you'll get access to the resources from the Royal College of Obstetrics and Gynecology. It gives you guidance on what are the dangers, what I need to look out for. Like this one, air travel and pregnancy, you can get a look at it. Okay, take your own time, later your husbands, your family, go look at it, right? Gestational diabetes, you can look at it, okay? The idea of putting on weight in the pregnancy earlier, right? So, on the other hand, how are you going to maintain that weight gain or optimal weight gain in pregnancy? By exercising, by being mobile, by being fit, right? Is it safe to exercise in pregnancy? Absolutely, absolutely, right? Unless you're talking about things like Muay Thai, kickboxing, wrestling, skydiving. Okay, no, those things are absolutely dangerous, right? Why are you doing that in pregnancy? You have so many other times outside of the pregnancy to do it. In the pregnancy, do something which is sensible and safe, right? Of course, what I've shown here is a picture of Miss Tia Claire Toomey, 6 times fittest woman on earth. She's different, right? She has got a baseline being really, really extremely fit. So even in pregnancy, she's lifting heavy weights. She's doing skillful gymnastic movements. That's fine for her, right? For other women, as simple as walking up and down stairs, As simple as doing squats, air squats. You don't have to do squats with weights. As simple as doing exercises like stretching, Pilates, right? Why? Because you want to prepare yourself, your body, in the best possible condition for birth. For birth. Birth is an extremely physical process, right? You are trying to push a 3-kilo baby out of your body, right? And that takes incredible amount of stress, pressure, strength, endurance, right? How long do you think a woman takes to push the baby out? Any guesses? Right? It's variable, right? If it's your first time, it probably can take up to 1 hour, 1 hour plus. And sometimes even after 1 hour plus, the baby's still not out yet. You want to give up, doctor, I see her now, please, I cannot take it. Then the baby is just there. Then how? Right? So being fit gives you the best chance possible for you to try and have a successful delivery, inshallah. Okay? I would like to show you, the other thing is empower yourself. The very fact that all of you guys are here on this beautiful Saturday morning is already the first step, I would say, or the very fantastic step. Empower yourself, educate yourself, right? There are plenty of classes that you can go for. And the fact that all your husbands are here, being involved, shows that you care and you want to learn more. Antenatal classes, right? So we have Sister Shakira from our Project ARIF team, who does lactation counseling. She's a breastfeeding consultant. She, even if you're part of Project ARIF, she even goes to your house to teach you how to prepare for you to breastfeed your baby. Teach the husbands how to breastfeed the baby, right? Can husbands breastfeed the baby? Yes, but not from your own thing, right? So, there are lessons to be learned here. So go for classes, empower yourself. I would just like to show you one video, if you can, about 6 minutes, just to empower. Because if you are going to give birth, it's like a foreign land you've never seen before. Like you want to recce the place, right? In the past, before COVID, we used to have physical tour. You walk through the labor ward, so you have a mental preparation of what is it like going to be when I give birth later, right? But now we have the use of technology and video. Let's share the video.
Hello and welcome to KK Women's and Children's Hospital. Did you know, as Singapore's largest maternity hospital since 1858, KKH has delivered more than 1.4 million babies. You can find out more about the key maternity facilities at KKH in this video today.
The Urgent ONG Centre, or UOGC, is a 24-hour emergency walk-in centre for women with urgent obstetric and gynecological conditions. If you are less than 22 weeks into your pregnancy and experience signs of labour or medical concerns, please proceed to the UOGC. If you are 22 weeks or more into your pregnancy and experience signs of labour or medical concerns, please proceed to the delivery suite. Upon arrival at the delivery suite, you will be assessed by midwives who will advise if you need to be brought into a delivery room directly or attended to by the medical team in the triage area. Depending on your condition, you may be admitted for labour or further observation. You may also be advised to rest at home for the time being. Our delivery suite has 28 single-bedded, air-conditioned delivery rooms. It facilitates an average of 30 to 35 births every day. All our delivery rooms are similar in size, furnishings, and facilities. Each delivery room is well equipped with items that may be required for the baby or mother during and after delivery. This includes pain relief options, a baby warmer, and resuscitation equipment should your newborn require breathing support. The delivery suite is also equipped with a central monitoring system which allows your baby's heartbeat and your contractions to be continually monitored by the medical and nursing team. You will be given close attention and quality care with an average of 1 midwife or nurse tending to 2 patients, supported by a multidisciplinary team of healthcare professionals. Across from the delivery suite are our operating theatres. In the event of an emergency during delivery, teams of specialists are on hand to attend to both mother and baby promptly. At KKH, the average time taken to deliver a baby via emergency caesarean section is 10 minutes. All deliveries are achieved within the international standard of 30 minutes. Located close by are the Neonatal Intensive Care Unit, or NICU, and Special Care Nursery. These facilities provide timely and advanced care for newborns and babies. With 40 beds and equipped to perform major surgeries and procedures, the NICU is the largest such facility in Southeast Asia. After your baby is born, the nurse will place him or her on your chest to establish skin-to-skin contact and encourage mother-child bonding. Breastfeeding is also initiated if both your and your baby's conditions permit. You will be served a hot drink and biscuits before being transferred to a maternity ward with your baby. There are several types of rooms available at KKH. Essential items for mothers and babies are also provided in each ward. In line with the baby-friendly hospital initiative, your baby will room in with you to encourage mother-child bonding and facilitate breastfeeding. RFID tagging is used for secure identification. The tags will play a melody when correctly matched. Your doctor will see you and your baby by the bedside for checks and vaccinations. During your stay at KKH, our nurses will advise on swaddling, nappy changing, and how to clean your baby after returning home. Our lactation consultants and lactation-trained ward nurses are also on hand to provide support and care to help familiarize you with breastfeeding techniques. You will be taught how to massage your breasts and help your baby to latch on correctly. Your baby's birth needs to be registered within 14 days. You may use the Live SG mobile app for birth registration. Or you can head to the birth registration counter located inside the admissions office. When preparing to visit the hospital for your delivery, you will need to bring with you your identity documents, appointment booklet, and if applicable, your admissions folder. You may also wish to prepare additional items for your stay. Remember to install a rear-facing car seat if you intend to drive home with your baby.
All of us at KKH are committed to providing excellent, compassionate, and holistic care for you and your baby. We look forward to being on this journey with you.
Before you fly, macam gitulah, Sister Samantha. So it's just a brief glimpse of what you can expect, when you are in your pregnancy journey, because it's good to visualize, especially if you're delivering KK lah. So that gives you a tour already, right? So it's free. I mean, anyway, it's all available on YouTube, right? So feel free to go through it again if you want. Yeah, Mustafa.
Yeah. Actually great, because when I watch this video, I feel like it's actually flashback during my time, the labor ward and so on. Yeah, it was nice actually to have this. Again, I really love this platform because I able to watch this. Last time we don't have this, I was confused. During I think I want to give birth to my first son, I have the whole kampung to actually send me to the hospital.
You can actually still give birth, Ustazah.
Inshallah. Okay, never mind. I have enough to stand, inshallah. Okay, so when we talk about, I just want to add on, Ustaz lah, dah bagi Ustaz lah doktor. Okay, I just to add on for doctor being active during pregnancy. And again, I'll touch on about solat sebenarnya. Okay, during pregnancy, I know kita during our first trimester, we can actually perform our solat as usual. Kita boleh diri, kita boleh buat solat dengan yang sekarang kita buat ni lah. Tapi towards the end of I think when I reach my 6 months, okay, it's a bit difficult because I dah besar, kaki dah sakit, dah bengkak and so on. So can we still do our solat solat, of course. So we can actually solat duduk daripada kita diri. Okay, because it's not an excuse lah. You pregnant, you no need to do your solat. No lah. Because actually solat also is make you active. Okay, so that you move around. At least you are moving here and there. So you can instead of doing solat berdiri, kita boleh solat berduduk. So what you need to do is actually bila kita punya first rakaat is especially kita diri dulu, lepas tu baru kita duduk bila kita nak rukuk, then kita punya sujud, then kita boleh buat macam gitu. So kalau misalnya you datang masjid ke nak solat kat rumah, you malu, just tak apa, pakai kerusi je, then you can do your solat. So it's no excuse lah when you pregnant. Okay, I no need to do solat ataupun I jamak my solat. No lah. So no, you can actually continue to do your solat. In fact, solat actually give you macam apa ni comfort because it's actually give you macam time for you to rest when you solat, because you really lepas tu you duduk and make you comfortable and make you relax. So continue to do your solat walaupun penat, because sometimes it's a bit breathless kan, you nak bangun, nak duduk, but never mind, you can continue to do your solat duduk je. Okay.
Yeah, I remember lagi-lagi kalau dah towards the end, ya Allah, during the sujud, like no space at all. So yeah, your own body, you know it. Okay. Okay. I feel like talking about that. There's also some other concerns lah. Oh yeah, before that, just now I said that husbands, I mean like maybe the sisters have some cravings and husbands cannot satisfy it due to health. So yeah, doctor says it's okay to ask for baby moon. So husbands prepare, work hard. Okay, tak adalah.
Sorry, I just want to add, I think during my time, my gynae advised my husband for spa. I said, bring your wife to spa.
Oh.
Then I turned to my husband, can I have spa? Because travelling that time not good lah kan. So it was spa. So I eventually asked my husband, I said, hey, I like my gynae. Can you advise him more? What did he need to do? Nampak? Abang dah senyum lah Okay, siapa wife dia?
Why did you mention this?
Lah, bagi kata semangat. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Moving on, there are also some concerns about aurat. So we know that, I mean like there are male gynaes. Alright. So what about the aurat? So what does Islam says about this?
Okay, there is saying in Islam, fas'alu ahla dhikri. Kita tanya pada expert. Okay, you need to tanya the expert about, especially for this, we need to ask the doctors lah. So, due to seeking medical treatment and medical, semua orang macam tengok saya bila but ni semua orang tengok wow, you are waiting for this, is it? Okay, due to seeking medical treatment, it is permissible to actually for us to seek treatment from male doctor. In fact, during my time, I also have male doctor, male gynae to actually to give treatment. Basically, the punya ruling is what? First, okay, you nak kena dapatkan keizinan suami. Okay, you need to keizinan suami because somebody is checking us apa. And of course, alhamdulillah, we have the supports from the husband. Number two, of course, when you meet up with the doctor, of course, there's the nurse there. Okay, you will not be alone with the doctor. Dua orang aja tak. Of course, you have your partners and also the nurse there. So it is actually permissible. Short and simple, Azhar. Okay, it's actually permissible.
Alhamdulillah, I like that ruling.
Kalau tak doktor kena buat apa sekarang?
If not, I should just quit my job, right? No. No, this is an absolute challenge that I face every single day, right? Every person has their own preferences, and this is something I will not be able to change, right? If you have a preference, if all things considered, I want a female doctor, let us know. We are not here to, oh, no, you must only see me. No, it's not like that, right? If you have a specific request because you consider everything, you think I'm more comfortable with a female doctor, let us know. Whether you are a private patient, you are a subsidized patient, you must let us know. So we make arrangements. So like you saw the entrance to the room in the labor ward, we put stickers, we put a card which says female doctors only, right? We will ask, so what happens if, let's say, you end up with an emergency, for example, right? Because in the middle of the night, the team is lesser, right? The on-call team at night is lesser. Sometimes the most senior person on call is me. I can change myself into a CT Fairuz or whatever, right? So, so will you be okay, right? If you are not, sorry. So in emergency, okay, so think through, right? Now you are in the critical part of the pregnancy, right? Think through, will you be okay, right? Husbands, discuss. She's absolutely right. I'm never going to see you, just me and you, and that's it, nobody else there. No, I'll get charged by the courts if I do that, okay? So I'll always have a female chaperone, and this is usually a nurse, right? A nurse, or my female medical officer, right? Who's maybe my junior. Okay, so that gives you a level of safety, inshallah. Yeah. So there are certain levels of what you would allow the male gynae to do, or the male doctor to do. So let us know your preferences so that it's very clear lah, right? So we don't accidentally go into the room, then you are like not with the tudong, then like, oh no, then you get very upset and like you just keep it to yourself. Then you must let us know, because we need to know, then it's easy to work together, inshallah.
Yeah, I think in fact during my time, my gynae was Chinese, and he actually understand the situation. So when he want to meet me in my labor, I say, hey, am I okay to come in? Then I have to put on my tudung and so on. And alhamdulillah, we are allowed to wear our tudung inside. Okay, only during the labor lah, meaning what? We have to actually spread wide open, right? Itu terpaksa lah kan, tak keluarkan anak. Tapi in terms of our aura, kita boleh cover. Senyum you all So it's okay. Because to me, you need to be comfortable, because you need to deliver. Because during that time, I tell you all the doa I practice. My husband say, remember we are Muslim. Yes, I am a Muslim, I know. Okay, but during that time, dah haywire, because of the pain and so on. But alhamdulillah, husband, you must continue to give your support to your wife, because during that moment, we don't know what happened to us. Okay, again lah.
Yeah, so just to share my experience, I was a subsidized patient. Due to the budget very tight, so I was a subsidized patient. I'm not sure, because doctor says we can tell, but during the checkups, they say I'm not allowed to choose female doctors. So I'm not but again, during my pregnancy, I think I'm lucky lah, because I was a high risk patient, so I get to see the same doctors for every checkup, and that's female doctors. So yeah, the Islam ruling says okay, but again, it's up to my preference that as much as I want female doctors. So but when I was in labor, so I told before you check in, you have to register and all, right? So you just let the admin staff knows that for this, I know for sure I can request for only female staff. So I did that, and like doctor says, they put signage outside your labor room. So there's one time sudden there's one male doctor come to check in. So I was like, with the pain. So I was like, why are you here? Why are you here? I thought I said no male staff. So doctor like, oh, okay. So the doctor just went out. Then I just keep on reminding the nurse. But again, please know that, you can request, but in terms of complications, emergencies, of course, because not all time the female doctors are around. So if any complication, they ask me are you okay if there's male doctors coming? So yeah, I say okay because it's between my life and my alright. So of course you have to choose your life. But so all went well for all my three, for all my pregnancies except for the third one. I had to go for emergency C-sec. Of course, you can't have all female staff in the emergency in the operation room lah. That's not possible, right? So yeah, so you have to decide lah. So for subsidized patient, you can do that. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Anything to add on that? No. Yeah. Okay. So doctor, I think we settled the issues of aura already. So yeah, the husbands are all here. So you also shared what the husbands got, but what else? Do you have any tips or advice to what else does these husbands can support your wife?
I can show this one. Okay, so earlier, I think the video already discussed a bit about what you can prepare to bring to the hospital in terms of coming for labor. This is just a simple pack list that you can copy from. You can get this from Health Hub, actually. A lot of this information is available on Health Hub. Health Hub is a very fantastic resource for all of you parents out there, parents-to-be out there. It has many different issues that you face in the different trimesters, including the fourth trimester. Some people thought, trimester 3, right? So first, second, third trimester. What's the fourth trimester? That's the time around the delivery and after delivery, right? Do not neglect that part as well. So the dads, right? It's really about being there for your wife. Some of the patients, so poor things, she's so much pain. She's trying, I'm so much pain. I'm having contractions every 2 minutes. My husband is not here. And she's more worried the husband is not here, not being able to meet the baby. So sometimes the husband is really in a bind, right? He's stuck in a meeting or he's stuck in reservists of all things. Oh my God. Or overseas, you know. Sometimes this is a problem with delivery, right? It's completely unpredictable. If I can tell you exactly when you'll deliver, then it's so much easier, right? But it's not lah. And that's why I chose this job also. Like, so it's rather fun when it's so unpredictable like this. The role that the husband plays, right? Especially when the time of the woman is in most need, and that's usually the time when she's in labor. She's in a lot of pain. The pain is unmatchable, right? You may have had an ACL tear or some fracture, leg fracture, whatever. Is not the same as the pain of giving birth. All of these women who have given birth before can definitely attest to that, right? Whether you have chosen to use epidural in labor or not, right? The pain, men just won't feel it, okay? But it's so important for you to be there for your wife. Give her comfort, right? When she pushes, you encourage her to breathe, you encourage her, support her head, right? A lot of times when she pushes, sometimes the neck is also extended like that, and that is inefficient technique, okay? You are encouraged to bring your chin down towards your chest, hold your breath, and when a woman does that, and she does that repeatedly, especially if it's over an hour, she gets very tired. So the husband can help by lifting her head upwards, right? Holding her hand. Sometimes, without pain relief, your hand is her pain relief, right? Because she's going to squeeze your hand until the blood runs dry. Okay, so that becomes your pain relief, right? Because I've had my hands grabbed many times by my patients, or my ribs jabbed by the legs. It's okay. It's why I signed up for this job anyway. So whatever, right? You as a husband, support your wife, right? Be there for your baby, right? If you have the intention to cut the umbilical cord, let us know. We will let you have it, that privilege, that chance, right? It's your baby after all. If you want to do it, I mean, of course, you're scared of blood. Don't worry, we can do it for you. But if you really want the opportunity, it's after all your baby, go ahead, right? I have a lot of brochures out there. I want you to feel free to take. They are absolutely free of charge. They are from KK. Take as many as you want. You want to take some for your friends, go and do it, okay? Things like pain relief in labor, right? You've heard about epidural. Oh, epidural, later back pain, later I cannot walk. That's nonsense, okay? If you have Instagram, right, go look up this handle, 2 Doctors, 1 Goal. 2 Doctors, 1 Goal. They are by 2 of our KKH anesthetists. They have very nice infographics to explain what are the problems of pain in labor. What is the options that you can use? What are the benefits of using these options? For example, the laughing gas. For example, injections to your thigh. For example, epidural. How safe is it? It's very, very safe. If it's not safe, why are the doctors telling you to take it? Right? So it's not compulsory. At the end of the day, it's also what you feel, right? If you feel like I'm happy enough without epidural, I'm happy using my own breathing technique, go ahead. Just before I went for a holiday recently, before I went for holiday, I delivered my patient. She wanted a very natural labor, right? She had gestational diabetes. It was quite well controlled with tablets, but she went into labor quite naturally. And she was very keen to have a very natural birthing process, right? She doesn't want epidural as fast as possible. She doesn't want medications as much as possible. Of course, we made a nice birth plan together, right? If you have an idea of a birth plan, make sure it's sensible. Make sure it's not like something out of this world, like I want the room to be pitch black dark. How safe is that, right? If you cannot see anything, the doctors can't see anything, right? How safe is that? I don't want to be monitored. I don't want any IV lines in my body. So let's say you end up with some major bleeding, no IV lines. How's the emergency medicine gonna get to you, right? Pouring inside your mouth, isn't it? No. What I'm trying to say is be sensible, right? If you have some idea of a birth plan, discuss with your doctor, right? The doctor can give you an advice to say that maybe this is rather unsafe, right? This is a bit risky. Okay, so discuss, right, and come up with a plan that you both agree with. And alhamdulillah, she had a very normal delivery. We didn't have to do any episiotomy. There was a tear, yeah, we repaired the tear, but she was very satisfied with this experience. She even had a mirror in front of her. There was a doula. She delivered normally. She felt really, really good about it. So I'm very glad that went really, really well for my patient, right? What do I have here? So this is actually my last slide lah. The QR code is there. If you haven't been taking pictures, take this picture, go and scan the QR code. This is the access to the slides. I have a picture of operation slides here actually, because actually if you are not pregnant now, you have problems with your menses, you have problems like fibroids, ovarian cysts, come and seek help, right? It's better to get it treated. We can advise you, not all fibroids, not all cysts need surgery, right? But those that need surgery, you better get it done well, properly. Yeah. So apart from doing delivery, I spend most of my time in the hospital doing surgeries, which is what I like anyway. So I hope whatever we have discussed so far has been meaningful. I'm happy to open questions to everyone here. Even if we have run out of time, you find me later, come and ask me. Okay, I'm happy to share some things so that as best I can answer.
All right. Okay, I would love to actually add on my experience. Think during labor. I think you remember during that time, I want to hang on something, so I actually hang on my husband. I asked my husband, "Okay, give me your hand, Akam. I really in pain." Okay, during that time because doctor say, "Okay, anytime you can actually give birth." So for husband, if let's say you're wearing ring, make sure you buka, because my husband kata tangan dia bengkak lepas tu because I squeeze too much. So and eventually he actually advised the rest of the husbands also. My friend every time siapa nak pergi labor, kata please make sure you buka you punya ring to your hand ke apa. Wow, what's that? Ada suara angel ke tak? Okay. So during depan saya ingat suara lain. Okay. So dah gitu terus I mean that is one of the thing lah. Okay, again you can actually recite the slide. Okay. You can recite this dua when you are at discomfort. Okay, I think I have shared this. If I were to call back my experience during my pregnancy, I think when I was about 6 months pregnant, I have to be in a bed rest because during that time I think I had complications. I have to actually rush to the hospital. I feel like macam so-called nak deliver during that time. So I have to stay in bed for about 1 month. Okay, because doctor say don't move around because our baby is so active, so you have to be at the hospital for the 1 month. So I cried a lot. I cried a lot, and I actually called my parents. I say, hey, this is not what I actually pictured during my pregnancy. So and I'm afraid that I'm gonna deliver now. So what should I do? So my dad say just doa, and doctor know best because you cannot do anything. So you listen to the doctors, listen to what your gynae said, and just be there at the hospital because they can actually do the check-up on you. So and at the same time also I also get my husband actually to be there with me. So I tell him, hey, I need your doa also. Let's dua together so that we are in this journey together. So one of the doa, because just now is actually about the discomfort, and one of the doa that because we want our child to have a natural macam delivery lah kan. Jadi anak tu sihat dan seadanya. So this is one of the doa we can actually practice. Rabbi habli minas salihin. Oh Allah, grant me from among the righteous. Meaning whatever lah anak kita tu during that time, keadaan dia pun kita kena terima. Because I think during that time I had to do the Down syndrome test. They find that macam they cannot find the nose carpenter. I don't know how is it. So it was very down situation, down moment. So my father advised me, and my ustad also advised me, read this dua. Okay, you and your husband also can read this dua. Okay, so I practice this until at the end of my pregnancy. And I also read this. Okay, especially doa ni, you all baca, not only for the husband, not only for the wife. Everybody can actually baca because this is what we want for our child. Okay, kita nak anak kita dan anak yang sihat daripada zuruk yang baik. So and kita nak lepas ni bukan setakat during dalam perut aja, is after that also. Kita nak anak yang soleh, anak yang baik, anak yang healthy. So baca ni, Rabbana hablana min azwajina wa dhurriyyatina qurrata a'yun waj'alna lil muttaqina imama. Oh Lord, bless us with pious spouses and offspring who will be the joy of our heart. Of course, our anak is our joy kan. So we want this to happen. We want our child actually to be born healthy. So and yes, baca doa ni. Okay, sampai anak tu dah besar pun boleh kita baca doa ni juga. And of course during that moment, I dalam one of the doa yang I baca juga adalah I keadaan yang tengah sedih, tengah yang macam is my child can make it towards the end. this is another one dua. It's actually part of Surah Yusuf. It's also recommended that we read Surah Yusuf during our pregnancy. We have like macam 9 months throughout our pregnancy. So the recommended surah that we actually can read, Surah Maryam, Surah Yusuf, Surah Baqarah. And partial of Surah Yusuf is this one. Fallahu khairu hafizan wa huwa arhamur rahimin. Allah is the best protector. Doctor help us with everything. Dia bagi kita medicine, kita bagi everything. In the end, kita put our trust in Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Okay, because this is what we can do. Because ada punya growth dalam perut ni semua memanglah ada medicine, tapi kita kena put our trust in Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. So when it get overwhelming, overwhelming not only in terms of kita nak go through pregnancy, go through the labor, it's also about our financials, our well-being, okay, your husband, your support. Kita asyik cakap, oh wife, kita, you husband, you need to support your wife, you need to support your wife. Okay, again, husband also need the support. From who? From the wife also. So husband, when it gets overwhelming, because you nak kena fikir, I need to actually do the admission. I need to pay how much? Nowadays, how much? Last time 3,000 plus. I tak ingat lah berapa. So then, you know, I think about the money, think about, okay, after this, I need to buy Pampers. If let's say I cannot breastfeed my children, my child, I have to actually buy meal. So okay, all this actually is macam jadi beban kepada suami. But take this is actually a challenge for you husband, that you know you are going to go through, it's not alone, but you're going to go through this with your wife. So baca doa ni to macam make yourself like macam relax and comfort, so that macam kita understand, this is what I want, because this is what the macam the goal that me and my wife want to go through. Okay, then yes, there is this label. Okay, these doas memang kita kalau boleh hafal bagus, tapi during that process I understand it's very hard. Okay, I nak baca selawat je, I tanya my husband, what is a selawat lah? How is to selawat? You know, I can't really remember how to selawat. Ustazah lupa macam mana nak selawat. So my husband dia kata sabar, baca istighfar. Okay, this is another doa that you can actually recite. Kalau susah sangat, go back to yang tadi kita punya zikir, baca astaghfirullah, baca alhamdulillah, baca subhanallah, baca Allahu Akbar. Paling sikit kita baca ya Latif. Semoga kita punya journey during that moment akan dipermudahkan. Because ya Latif make you macam really macam lembut. Because ya Latif maknanya ya lembut. So kita akan make kita calm, okay, on the situation. Baca ya Latif ya banyak. Itu yang I baca. I was hoping to read this lah. Okay, I ask my husband, what is the doa? I kan ada doa lisan. I ask my husband, dia keluarkan ni semua tak sempat, ni semua macam dia dah kata you kena syahadah lah, because you dah tak ingat ni you orang Islam. Kata I remember lah, I'm still a Muslim. Only that during that moment dah sakit sangat. I took epidural towards the end. Tapi tak sempat epidural to work, terus I give birth. Okay, so the doa that I really hold on to is ya Latif. Okay, and I mention Allahu Akbar. And again, of all the process yang kita buat ni, kita put trust in Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Okay, believe in the process. Okay, you dah buat, you dah pergi doktor, you dah be active, you dah jaga yang makan. Okay, doktor kata makan obat, you dah buat semua, and you dah do your salat, you dah do your doa. In the end, dah doa, dah usaha. This is what you need to do. You put trust in Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. You are in good hands, because not only that you are going to go through this journey, but you put the trust in Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala supaya Allah jaga kita. So kita tahulah ada complication and so on ni semua, tak apa. In the end, inilah Allah tahu what is the best for you. So you put the trust in Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. InsyaAllah semua benda consider macam beres. Itu saja.
Yeah, to add on to that, right? Suza mentioned, Latifah did mention about Surah Yusuf and all. So I would like to share these practices from our Muslim scholars. So for the first trimester, I think this is a very good for daddy and mommy to practice. For the first trimester, we are highly encouraged to read Surah Yusuf. For what? Because you know, right? Oh, what do you know about Nabi Yusuf alayhi salam? About his looks, right? So yeah, it's good for the physical appearance, because the first trimester is where our parts are being formed and so on, right? So then for the next trimester, for the second trimester, you are highly encouraged to read Surah Luqman. So Luqman is an individual where he is known for his intellectual. So for the development of the baby. Then for the last trimester, we are highly encouraged to read Surah Maryam. Alright, we know Maryam is the mother of Nabi Isa alayhi salam, and she went through the source. That one I cannot share, if not until 2 p.m. Okay, so if you can't read it, no worries. Nowadays, there's a lot of audios. You can choose from imam siapa yang you nak, choose lah. So as long as, because the baby can hear you, right? So yeah, just keep on playing it. Yeah. Okay, so I really hope for those sisters who don't have a husband supports, to those who are single mothers, please find your own support. Find someone to rely on, at least to keep your emotions and mental check lah. Okay, so yeah, I think that's for it. I mean, like, we will open to the floors for those who have any question. You may ask our doctor and Ustaz. Anyone?
Assalamualaikum everyone. My name is Damia Kistina. So I have a question related to menses and pregnancy lah. So I want to ask if it's normal to vomit when you have menses cramp, and then for epidural, I also heard like a lot of negative side effects lah from a lot of people. So I want to know if it's true or not. Yes. Yeah.
So this is a good question. Thanks for asking. Being the first one to ask, I encourage everyone to try. You have anything in your mind, you just feel free. Inshallah, when you share something, everybody benefits. Inshallah. Okay. So the first part, vomiting when you're having your menses. So is that normal? Everybody sort of have slightly different ways of menstrual patterns. Vomiting it is not an abnormal thing in having menses. That is not a sign that the menses is getting worse or getting into a problem, right? Is there a cause to be concerned? Actually, not really. Unless you have very severe menstrual cramps, menstrual pains, and the pain doesn't get relief with simple pain relief options like paracetamol or Panadol, or you have very abnormal flow, very, very heavy flow outside of your usual days. Let's say maybe day 2 or day 1 is your heavy day. Subsequent days are fine, but you are seeing that menses are like even heavy on day 7, day 8, and it's unrelenting. Or you have very prolonged menses beyond day 9, day 10, you are still bleeding, right? Or it's in the middle of the cycle in the month, is not expected to have menses, but you are still bleeding. Or you have bleeding after sexual intercourse. Right, these are all signs or red flags which you need to pay attention to. That's when you should seek medical attention, because something may be wrong. There might be some issues with the womb, like a polyp, like a fibroid, like a cyst, that may be contributing to the symptoms. Okay, so it's good since you asked something about menses, although slightly different from the topic, but I'm happy to answer. The vomiting itself, I don't think that's got anything major to be worried about. Okay, but let me know if you have other issues, the one that I asked. The epidural, okay? The best person to speak to about an epidural will be the ones who have been through the epidural, right? She finds it fantastic, okay? Although when she got the epidural, a matter of minutes she gave birth, right? So when should you ask for an epidural? So basically the timing for an epidural is when we know you are in established labor, okay? Sometimes contractions start, right? The regular contractions have started, but the cervix is not opened. Okay, that's very early in the labor. And especially if this is your first pregnancy, that may take many more hours before you actually go into labor. Your cervix opens to 2 cm, 3 cm. Eventually, it needs to open to 10 cm before your baby then gets delivered. As long as the cervix at least 2 or 3 centimeters, it's starting to get what we call efface. It means it's thinning out. Thinning means it's thin like this web in my fingers here. That's thinning. Okay, effaced. We know that active labor has begun. And we see on the CTG monitoring, you have very nice contractions happening every few minutes. Fantastic. That's when we know epidural, you can go for it if you want to, right? What will happen to your body when you get epidural? You feel numbness in your tummy all the way to your toes. Numbness, which is good because you eliminate or reduce the pain to such an extent where you can sleep. Right? Why you want to sleep? Because you haven't been sleeping before. right? You are worried about this baby coming out, your nervousness, your anxiety, which is normal. You haven't been sleeping. Now you get a chance to rest, save that energy, because you need that energy to push your baby, right? So there are benefits of the epidural here, right? Is the epidural the same for everyone? Obviously, no. Sometimes you may feel a little bit patchy, right? Your left side feels very heavy, your right side feels okay, right? Then you feel the contractions, I feel more on my right side than my left side. That's because everybody's body is slightly different, okay? So just because you have an epidural doesn't mean your pain is zero, okay? You may still encounter some mild contractions, but it's way better than you without the epidural in terms of the severity of the pain, yeah? Because you need to understand, from 2 centimeters to reach 10 centimeters, if this is your first labor, that duration of time may take another 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours. Are you going to be able to endure that contraction pain every 2 minutes, 3 minutes for the next 10 hours? You're going to drain a lot of energy. And by the time you reach fully dilated, you have no more energy, you cannot push your baby out. Okay? So the risk of the epidural, like back pain, infection, okay? The risk of that, okay, are you going to get back pain even without the epidural? Having gone through the pregnancy for the past 9 months, 10 months, are you going to get back pain? Are the men going to get back pain even without being pregnant? Yes. Yeah, there are many reasons for back pain. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay? So just because, or you heard of some funny story from some friend, they get a severe back pain, it's not just because you had an epidural, you have back pain. Okay? Be mindful of that. That 2 doctors, 1 goal, Instagram page is my friend's lah. Go visit it when you have time. It's very nice. It tells you what you need to know about epidural, and there's a brochure there later. You can have a look at it again. I hope I've answered your question.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor, for that. So, any more questions? Okay, from the guys.
Assalamualaikum. Just want to ask, because it's my
Introduce
wife
your name.
first. My name is Muhammad Syahir. This is my wife's first pregnancy lah. Alhamdulillah. Then just want to ask, because for the past few weeks and months, and my wife has been sakit macam kadang-kadang feel very pokey feeling. Then after that kadang at night, I remember last 2 weeks or last 3 weeks, we have to go to OL the thing, because dia macam very sakit gila. Then dah sampai tu okay tak? So is it a normal thing or how is it? Yeah.
How far along are you in the pregnancy?
I think now 6 months, going to 7 months.
6 months, so that's
Yes.
about 6 times what? 24.
My EDD
24.
is September, 20
Okay.
September.
Okay, so at that duration of time in the pregnancy, what happens is the womb is growing bigger, right? The baby is growing bigger inside the womb, so the womb is also growing bigger. There's a lot of compression against the other organs inside your tummy, right? It has to make space lah for the baby to grow. So your things, your other organs like, hello? Yeah. Like your intestines, there is some compression effect. Your stomach, there's some compression effect, right? As the womb grows, the ligaments that are supporting the womb also get stretched. Yeah. So there are various contributing factors to the discomfort that your wife is facing. Part of it is all the stretching effects of the womb, the ligament stretching effect. That one is usually felt lower down in the pelvis, that kind of pain, right? It feels pain right at the pubic region, the pubic bone, right? That's because there's a joint there. The joint undergoes slight separation in pregnancy to make space for the baby to grow into the pelvis, right? We call it symphysis pubis dysfunction, okay? In the upper part of the tummy, right? Why is there some more pain? It's possibly related to having a bit more reflux. The acid in the stomach, right? Because of the gravid pregnancy, the baby is bigger. There's a lot more fluid that travels backwards, and that causes discomfort. That causes sometimes feeling like a brash, feeling like acid feeling in the throat, right? The movements of the intestines also get slowed down by the pregnancy hormones. So all of these are contributing, right? Miraculously, she feels better when she's in the hospital. I don't know why, placebo effect, most likely. But there are simple medications that we can give usually, something like anti-acid medicine, some anti-motility medicine so that the movements are not so intense. Can be helpful. But those things are usually not dangerous for the baby and for the wife, inshallah.
I just want to add, I've been through that. I think about the reflux thing, I don't know. I actually, what I did when I sleep, I letak banyak pillow kat belakang. Because I think I don't know the result of breathless banyak sangat. So I letak pillow, and then when that thing happen, I usually have macam take a walk inside my house. So eventually after macam few steps ke apa, few steps kat tempat my few rounds inside my living room, I feel better. Lepas tu I baru duduk balik, then I try to sleep. Memang during that time, I think from 6 months to 9 months, I experienced that a lot of time. So then I realized that I cannot actually minum certain things. So I try to cut down. I think during that time is orange. I don't know how you related. I use my why? Because acid, right? Because I stopped drinking orange juice. I stopped drinking anything that related to orange. I don't know, lime. So when I stopped, eventually my heartburn semua stop. So I actually discover myself lah that time tak ada orang nak layan kan.
She's absolutely right. If you're going to have dinner so close to bedtime, let's say bedtime is 11 p.m. and your dinner is at 9 p.m., there's only 2 hours. And after dinner, if you're just quite sedentary, you're just at home doing nothing, not taking a walk, for example, where's the food going to go? Right? It's still in the stomach, right? It takes time for your food to be digested and go down into the intestines. So you are encouraged to have at least space about 3 hours from dinner time to bedtime. Because bedtime, what's going to happen? You're going to be horizontal. You're going to be horizontal, the food is going to stay more in the stomach, right? By taking a walk, that encourages peristalsis, the movements of your intestines, right? Encourage digestion. So for women, for everybody actually, don't take such late dinners, number one. Number two, take a walk after dinner, right? Avoid food which are too spicy. I know Malays, spicy food, fantastic, right? All the sambal. But that will encourage more acid production. More acid production means more reflux, right? Avoid carbonated drinks. Avoid caffeine. Sorry, that's me. Reduce caffeine intake. 1 cup a day maximum. Don't take your caffeine in the later part of the day. Take in the daytime, maybe. Just 1. Right? Because all of this encourage acid production in the stomach, more reflux. Okay, so these are just simple measures, elevating the head of the bed, right? You don't have those recline or incline beds. Use more pillows, more cushions, support yourself. So some people even sleep because of being big, being breathless. They sleep with 3 pillows at the back of their head, right? So that is something that you can do, simple measures to overcome that feeling, that reflux.
All right, can you pass the mic to the brother at the back? Thank you so much. MashaAllah, thank you so much.
All right. Assalamualaikum. Okay, I'm Lukman. I have a question for doctor and as well as Ustazah. So maybe I ask doctor first. So I have heard, so my wife is at the end of the 2nd trimester already, about 26 weeks. Yeah. I have heard of the term low-lying placenta. What is considered as low-lying placenta? What can my wife do perhaps to I don't know, is it something to overcome or counter? Yeah, so that's for doctor. For Ustazah, so as soon as the baby is born, for the father, right, what can he do? Because people say it must azan and all that, right? Yeah, so that's my question, 2-parter. Thank you.
Thank you, Lukman. Low-lying placenta. Okay, so that's why we do scans. I think, so wives has been okay so far? Bleeding problems? No, alhamdulillah. Okay, so when you do that 20-week scan, 20 weeks is when you do the fetal anomalies scan. That's when we start to locate the placenta location, right? The placenta can be anywhere at 20 weeks. It doesn't matter. Because at 20 weeks, you are not trying to deliver your baby. You're going to deliver your baby at 40 weeks or 39 weeks, something like that, at term, right? So the placenta location can be anywhere. But if the placenta is low meaning it is near the neck of the womb, near the cervix, or covering the cervix, okay? Sometimes a patient may encounter a bit more complications like bleeding in the pregnancy during that 2nd trimester, 3rd trimester, whatever. A low placenta, usually will have a chance to move away from the lower segment at the later part of pregnancy as the womb develops more, the placenta develops more. Majority of the time it does that. Okay, which is when we will arrange you to have subsequent follow-up scans. Maybe at 28 weeks, do a scan. 32 weeks, another scan. Look and confirm. If we keep repeating the scan until like 36 weeks, we still see the placenta covering the neck of the womb. Unfortunately, in such a situation, you cannot have a vaginal delivery. How's the baby going to burst through the placenta and deliver? That's not possible, right? In such a case, we will advise for cesarean section because that's safer, okay? But majority of the time, more than 70-80% of the time, a low placenta at 20 weeks or 24 weeks or 26 weeks will have a chance to move away. So you need to do repeat scans. As long as your wife has no vaginal bleeding for the rest of the pregnancy, she should be fine. Yeah, but be mindful, because you know that your wife has got low placenta, and if she has bleeding, do not ignore that bleeding. Come to the hospital for a check. A low placenta may have a higher chance of bleeding, right? Especially if there's trauma, right? Let's say car accident, for example, or had a fall, okay, or somebody ran into her tummy, right? Remember, you have low placenta, so take extra precaution, okay? Some doctors advise, give additional precautions, say that, okay, you can have sexual intercourse in pregnancy, but because the placenta is low, maybe you avoid sexual intercourse, okay? That is plus minus. It's not based on solid evidence, okay? But if you are really worried, you have low placenta, especially if you have bleeding problems in the pregnancy and there's low placenta, please avoid the intercourse until there's no more bleeding or until placenta is away. Otherwise, sexual intercourse in pregnancy is fine, okay?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yeah, actually, what are the practices? This is actually sunnah practices that we can do once the baby is delivered. One, okay, let the doctor settle everything first, because you if you want to cut the umbilical cord, okay, because nanti during my time, I think the doctor actually panggil my husband, kata daddy you want to cut, because kadang the husband at the pause moment, kan terperanjat nampak anak keluar and so on ni semua, so dia macam shock, okay, what I'm going to do next. And alhamdulillah, my guy actually panggil my husband, kata, husband, do you want to cut? He said yes. During that moment, after they do all the checking, dia kata, okay daddy, the baby is ready for you. So you angkat baby tu, you bagi salam, assalamualaikum, then you azankan kat telinga kanan. Okay, baik Iman, I ada student last time, dia azan sekuat-kuat hati, Allah, dengan lagu-lagu you ingat, because baby also need to be, nak kena pergi check again and to ensure, and we need to have like macam apa ni, one-to-one session with the baby also, with the mother. So tak payahlah nak berlagu-lagu sangat. Okay, you baca azan macam biasa, Allahu Akbar sampai habis. Ada juga sunnah mengatakan lepas you dah azan kat telinga kanan, you boleh qamat kat telinga kiri juga. Tapi again, kalau ada time, because kita nak as much as possible, kita nak skin to skin with the mother, okay, the baby and the mother. So this is other practices. Okay, again I repeat, the first thing you need to do is actually bagi salam, assalamualaikum to your baby, because dia dengar suara you yang pertama, then you azan kat telinga kanan, then after that kalau nak qamat kat telinga kiri pun boleh juga. Then after that, then nanti nurse kata okay lah, you can go skin to skin with the mother. Itu dia tak ada proses yang macam complicated ke apa, tak ada. And you know what, nowadays even the nurse pun understand. Okay, the one yang bukan Muslim pun dia kata, mami daddy you want to azan, diorang yang remind kita. Alhamdulillah, you know, and it's happened at KK, you know. I remember during that time, both of my child, the first one and second one, I think both my husband pun pause during that time, anak dah terkeluar, dia tak terfikir ingat. Nurse yang remind, kata it is ready for you, you want to do the azan, dia pun cakap azan, and that was my husband did lah during that time. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, Alhamdulillah. Sometimes the unfortunate situation where you have a single mother, a teenage pregnancy, but Alhamdulillah they remember Islam, they remember Allah. At that point in time, they have no husbands, right? And I become the tukang azan. So that has happened to me a few times. I find it quite a nice joy to do it also. But I mean, if the husband is there, please, right? I serahkan.
You baca macam mana, panjang-panjang berlagu tak ada?
Short one, short and sweet, inshallah.
Okay, thank you Dr. Amzazah for answering that. So, question next. Okay, sister. Wait until the mic arrives to you. Okay.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Amalina. I just want to ask for example, when you're at home and then for your water bag burst, how some people say it's not a rush to go to the hospital. So how early or how late can you so-called prepare yourself to bring yourself to the hospital for the delivery?
I assume that's questions for me. Thanks, Amalina. Okay, good question. There are several facets to this. First of all, is this a low risk, normal risk kind of pregnancy, or is this a high risk pregnancy? What I mean by that is presentation of the baby. Is it a head down baby? Right? It must, if you want to deliver vaginally, it has to be head facing down first. Okay? Bridge vaginal delivery, that means the buttock comes out first. That's much more dangerous for the baby. Yeah. So that's one. No low placenta. Yeah. The water bag that comes out, the color is clear. Yeah. The baby's movements that you're feeling is normal movements, not reduced movements or no movements. Yeah. Are you at normal term? That means past 37 weeks, right? Or are you leaking and it's already 20 something weeks or 30 weeks only? That means premature, right? So clearly, if this is risk, right? Premature leaking of the water bag, bleeding instead of water, not just water, but water with some blood coming out. Water bag leaking, you also have contraction pains. Water bag leaking, but you cannot feel any movements in the baby. Clearly, these are things where you must come to the hospital immediately. Yeah, immediately. As soon as you cannot wait for your husband to finish work at 10 p.m. whatever p.m. Then wait and then my water bag leak at 2 a.m. Just now, like I didn't tell anybody because I was waiting for you to come back from. No, right? Come to hospital. Go for a check. A lot of women feel that they go to hospital, then they wait and wait for labor to start. Then it's like wasting time. That is that really depends on the situation, I would say, right? For example, if let's say you have just GBS, group B streptococcus. This is a bacteria we test in the vagina, and the perineum and the vagina at about 35 to 37 weeks of the pregnancy. Why we test this? Because if you're going to deliver the baby through the vagina, the baby is going to pass through the birth canal, right? And if this bacteria is found in the birth canal, we don't want the baby to catch this bacteria and then get some serious infection, right? So if you have been tested and it's present in you, when your water bag, or ideally before your water bag even breaks, we start you on antibiotic as a prevention, as a precaution, as a protection for the baby, right? This bacteria itself is not going to be harmful to you, but it's for the baby, right? So if the water bag has been leaking for hours and hours and hours, and GBS is present and there's no antibiotic started, is the baby going to be affected or not? I don't know, right? But it's higher risk than if, let's say, you have come and get your antibiotics started, you know, at least there's some level of protection to the baby, right? So if, let's say, you know, it's completely low risk pregnancy, your water bag starts to leak, right? You can still feel the baby's movement is good. You have no contractions yet. You want to wait for a while, right? To wait for contractions to start. I think that's fine, okay? But don't wait for like 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, right? Because are you going to be able to tell that labor is definitely going to start when the water bag breaks? May not necessarily happen, you know. Majority of the time, in the first 24 hours, when the water bag has really leaked and you are at term, you are more than 37 weeks, labor may start. The keyword is may, right? If it doesn't start, then you're going to induce the labor yourself at home. No, I mean, the longer the time the water bag is leaked, right now the membranes or the barrier from the baby to the outside, to the vaginal tract, the bacteria is out there, is now lesser, right? There's an open hole there. So bacteria may start to happen, to come in. And not just the baby can get infected, your womb can get infected. So you also may fall sick. Yeah. So do not wait too long, right? You want to wait for a couple of hours for your contractions to start, that's fine. But get yourself checked, right? You want to see, is your baby doing okay? So we run the CTG in the ward, and in the labor ward, we see how it is. Right? If you really wish not to be induced, you want to wait for maybe a couple more hours, it's fine. As long as your baby can be monitored, you can be monitored, right? So I hope that answers the question. It's not a hard and fast rule, straight away your leak, you must come. But you have to bear in mind what are the risks that you have in that pregnancy. Yeah?
I just want to add for the question, actually, I want to ask the duration of the contraction, how many minutes? Because for my time, I don't really leak And because I had my contraction, so straight away I go to the hospital. Then the doctor checked with me, hey, it's already at 6 centimeter. So that things to happen, right?
Everybody's pain threshold is different. Yeah? You cannot be, she only come at 6 centimeter. I can also wait lah. Some people at 0 centimeter, the pain is out of this world. You just feel like you want to die. Okay? So at home, who's going to give you the pain relief? Your husband, is it? What? His hand squeeze until, right? So everybody's pain threshold is different. So how frequent should the contractions be? I don't think there's a hard and fast rule to that, right? If you find your contractions is obviously different from the Braxton Hicks. You've heard of Braxton Hicks, yeah? Braxton Hicks is like tightening in the womb that happens around 35, 36, 37 weeks towards the later part of the third trimester as like a warning, like a, hey, remember, you are going to deliver soon. You may feel something like this, but maybe stronger next time, right? So Braxton Hicks is like a forewarning kind of thing. So when labor really starts, that's when regular contractions happen. It can be every 2 minutes. It can be every 3 minutes. It can be every 10 minutes. But if the contraction every 10 minutes is just so painful, the severity is just getting worse and worse, what's stopping you from coming? Thankfully, you are staying in Singapore, right? Even if you stay at the end of the world, like in Pasir Ris to the hospital, it's still half an hour, right? If you stay in like, maybe in other countries, right? The country is so huge, you travel for days just to get to the hospital, right? Sometimes those countries I've been to, India, I've been to parts of India, the rural parts, they really, they basically, all their travel, life savings, they pack their entire house, get to the hospital. Sometimes they don't even make it to the hospital, baby pass away, right? Because it's just too much for them to travel. Okay, so if you already have regular contractions, if you see mucus plug coming out, mucus plug is like lendir, like that, pinkish, purplish color. If you see water bag leaking and it's getting more and more, if you feel your baby not moving well, these are all signs that you must come to the hospital. Must come, right? If let's say we come and you check, right? Oh, contractions are irregular. The cervix is not open. Baby is doing fine. So what? Go home lah. Come back again sometimes when the contractions is better, is getting more intense, right? You have that sense of reassurance at least. At least now this is not really labor yet. I'm okay. My baby is okay. I will come back when my contractions are better, are more intense, right? It's no big deal, right? So it's better to be reassured than just ignore, but at home you're struggling like hell, right? You have nowhere for support. You're screaming your lungs out, but what's stopping you from coming to the hospital?
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Doctor. I hope that these sessions are beneficial for all of you. To those here who are here and to those who are at home also. Thank you for joining us today. So if you have any questions like what Dr. Faris mentioned, especially for you here, you can meet him after this, right, Doctor? Yeah. Okay. So with that, I would like to share with you on our, not next week, don't come next week. Not next week. Next week we are giving way to the, we are having our Eid al-Adha next week, right? So on 8th of July, we will have this talk on family planning. All right, it's a good talk for you to come also, because after you give birth, then you might want to have some gaps before you continue on your next pregnancy, right, Doctor? We will also have Dr. Fairuz over here and our Ustaz Mahal Salim, who will talk about the rulings in Islam. What about what does Islam says about family planning and all? Okay, so for those who haven't registered, please do register and be with us again today. And as I mentioned last week also, for those who attend at least 2 sessions of our talks, you are going to be given special prize for you to redeem, inshallah. Okay, so and so we are going
to.
Okay.
The best time to talk about family planning is while you are still pregnant, because a lot of times, we ask, what are you going to do after this pregnancy? Then you are in so much pain. You have so much pain in the pregnancy, the labor. You are just, baby is crying very loudly. You are still trying to recover. You have no time to think. So actually, since we are on today's episode, right? Family planning is also just as important, but we didn't have too much bandwidth to talk about it for this thing. We have some brochures later about contraceptive also. feel free to have a look at them. If you, all of you have Google and have phones, right? So type Sexwise, Sexwise. It's a fantastic website. I love it. You can compare and contrast different options for contraception. Do it at your own free time, of course.
Okay, so now I would like to invite a representative from Project ARIF to talk about Project ARIF.
Hello. Okay. Assalamualaikum. Thank you again, speakers, for the very insightful, meaningful, and heartfelt sharing. And thank you so much, audience, for being very forthcoming with your questions, for being very open. Okay, so allow me 5 minutes. I think some of you have attended the first one and probably have heard a bit about Project ARIF. So this is for the benefit of those who have not heard about us. My name is Siti. I'm the medical social worker in KK. Oh, I blocked. Okay, I'm a medical social worker in KK, and I'm also part of the team behind Project ARIF. So Dr. Fairuz is one of part of the team as well. So in the team, there's 3 social workers, there's 3 gynae. I'm sure you all have heard of Dr. Susanna. She's the co-lead of Project ARIF. There's Dr. Adila, who's also our pediatrician, and 2 nurses. So basically, what do we do in Project ARIF? So we support newlyweds. So regardless, there's no criteria, regardless whether you're, regardless where you come from, your social circumstances, all of you are welcome to join Project ARIF as long as you are newlyweds. So we are here to support every step of your marriage and parenthood journey. So holistically, from the religious aspect, from the social aspect, and from the medical aspect. So we also have 2 full-time night kadi in our team. So that's where the religious component come from. And then so that means social worker for us, we will be the liaison person. So see us as a resource person. If you need any resources, anything, we have any questions. So we are like the middle person to connect you to our medical professional as well as our night kadi. And yeah, so we will journey with our couple for the first 2 years of your marriage or until your baby is probably like 2 to 3 years old. There are personalized services exclusive for our Project ARIF couples. So if you are pregnant, we have a pregnancy package. So I'm not going to go through everything here, but if you would like to know more and you would like to register and join us, feel free to approach either one of us. So there's Zul, who's our project manager. So Abida is another our MSW. So, and you can also even ask Dr. Fairuz lah. So so just feel free to approach us, and then we will definitely share with you more. So I know some of you here have already enrolled. So I'm glad to know that you all also attended this event. So I think, so just feel free to talk to us after this. Yes, that's about it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Siti, for that. I hope that you register yourself. Okay, so before we end the session, I would like also to invite all of you to follow our Instagram at the Ladies Minaret and also at Media Istighfar for any updates on the mosque programs. Okay, and also we do have Clinic Tanya Satiza where we will be there for you. If you have any questions regarding Islamic matters, you can submit the form and we will try our best to contact you as soon as possible to do a follow-up. Okay, so with that, we thank all of you from the bottom of our heart for spending your Saturday morning with us today. So we end our session with Tasbih Kafara and Surah Al-Asr. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh.